I have now, as of today, completed 555 journal entries, meaning I've journaled on 555 separate days. And that's my small stack of journals there. It's not massive, but I'm on to my 14th journal now. And if you've ever felt drained, if you've ever felt overwhelmed, scattered, if you've ever felt empty, meaningless, if you procrastinate, any of these things, in my opinion, that ties down to part of journaling, what I do. And what I mean is it can be solved by journaling. And the reason for that is because I don't journal as kind of like a diary, just like writing down. I don't know. I know that some people do that, and I think that's great. But personally, what I do is this is part of a larger system. And let me explain. So I journal every day at the end of each day, and then I do a weekly review and a monthly review on my MacBook, and that's on Notion. And how this ties together is that when I've done a journal entry each day of the week, then at the end of the week, I do a weekly review of my entire week and look back at those journal entries to collect all the pieces that I've collected there, and then do a bigger review each week, and then I do a bigger review each month. And my monthly review itself is based on my vision for my life. And so, in short, this is a system for achieving your dreams, if you will, or becoming your best and highest self. And it's been immensely helpful in my life, so I will share with you how I journal. So it's very simple. I have 5 points that I write down, and I just number these 1 through 5. Instead of writing a question, each of these numbers represents a question. So number 1 represents what, and I will explain the principle behind each of these, because each of these has a fundamental principle behind them. They're not random. So the first thing to start off light, just to reflect on, is what am I grateful for today? And I know this is very, very cliche. You hear this probably from loads of journaling gurus, but to explain the reason behind this is because our biology, the way we are wired, is that as humans, we're wired to focus on the negative. And the reason for that is because from an evolutionary perspective, it benefited us to notice the negatives over the positives, because, for example, something dangerous is obviously negative. And if we are quicker to notice those dangerous things, then, well, that can possibly save our lives. But nowadays, of course, we don't have these dangers in our lives. Instead, instead of dangers potentially taking away your life like it were for our ancestors, nowadays it's us who take away our own lives, minute by minute, distraction by distraction. And the thing is, by developing this gratitude mindset or gratitude habit, and this may sound wishy-washy, but let me actually explain this. When you develop a gratitude mindset and a habit, because this is a real habit, I've noticed myself being more grateful and focusing on the cup half full whole thing in life. I notice the positives a lot more while still noticing the negatives when need be. And what this does is it elevates your frequencies. Now that sounds wishy-washy, but let me explain. Imagine you're excited, right? Or think back to any time that you were excited. My bet is that you didn't feel like sitting down or laying down and just scrolling on your phone, because you're so excited, you want to be up and moving around and doing something that you love. Whereas the only time that you do doom scroll on your phone is probably not when you're excited, so not when you're in an elevated state, but rather when you're feeling low, when you feel sad, upset, and just miserable. that's probably when you tend to doom scroll rather than when you're in an elevated state. Now, being grateful does not equal obviously being constantly excited, but it gets you closer to that level. Maybe not quite excited, but joyful and, well, grateful by definition. And so it just makes you a better human being. You operate on a higher level, quite literally. Then, number two is, and there's two parts to this. Number two is what worked well today and what could have worked better. Now, this is crucial because for the first thing, for both of them, I write these down in my weekly review. And this is a system, by the way, that I created for myself, and it's something that I've taught. It's similar to what I've taught to my mentees in the past when I did coaching, and I'm looking forward to doing that in the future. I write down all the things that worked well on any given week from my journal and all the things that could have worked better. And this way I notice what works well, and so I will continue doing those things. Like, for example, let's say I created a new schedule for eating or for my deep work blocks or for my training, or my focus is improved because of what I ate, or all these little things. I notice these things and I make sure to keep them and continue with them. Whereas the things that could have worked better, I do not let anything go unnoticed. And so this guarantees that every single day I improve. And the reason that's so important, and I will come back to this, is because I don't believe that the key and goal in life, the goal in life isn't to be perfect, rather to never stop improving. Because success becomes inevitable when you never stop improving. And so that's one of the most important parts of my whole entire journal entry. Then number three, I write down, what did I learn today? And, well, of course, if you're not learning things each day, then you're not developing your mind. And if you're not developing your mind, then what really are you doing? What more important thing is there to do? Number four, how did I improve today? Now, this is very closely interlinked with what did I learn today? So if you don't want to have that, you can change that over for whatever you like, or you can remove it. But the reason I have it there is because for the what did I learn today, I write down anything I learned on that given day. Whereas on number four, I write down how I improved at my craft. For example, editing or filming. Or how did I improve in my interpersonal relationships with other people? Any of these sort of things. And that does not have to mean learning something like the previous one. It can mean taking action and improving on that thing. That's why I have it separate. And then number five, and this is another crucial one. Number five is, what will I do tomorrow? As in my to-do list. However, and this is where it links to my system again. I don't write down a long list of things that I could do. Instead, I look at, when I'm doing my weekly, in fact, I'll start for monthly so I can include the whole picture here. When it comes to my monthly review, I ask myself, what one meaningful action task can I complete this month that will move me closer towards my vision? Meaningfully. Instead of writing a long list and paralyzing myself and feeling scattered or overwhelmed, I write down one thing. And this is called the one domino technique, or I don't remember the exact word he used there at the end, but Gary Keller, he is the owner, I believe, of Keller Williams Realty. And this is something he uses, and it's similar to what Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek, uses. And essentially, it's about writing down the one crucial needle moving task, that if you do this one thing, it's the big domino that knocks over all the other dominoes. And that's why it's called the one domino thing. And basically, I just write down one mission critical task that will meaningfully move me towards my vision. Then, during my weekly review, I write down one thing that will meaningfully move me towards my monthly action goal. And the reason I use action goals as opposed to standard goals is because what do I have control over? My actions. And so this makes it very tangible and fully in my control. Whereas if one of my goals is to make $1,000 or $10,000 in a month, I don't have full control over that. I have indirect control because I can control my actions that lead towards that goal, but not the goal itself. And so my goal actually is my large vision for 5 or 10 years down the line, but then I have action goals for my months, weeks, and days. And then for my day, as you can probably guess by now, I just choose one thing that will meaningfully move me towards my weekly action goal. And I know this sounds complicated and I know it sounds a bit much, but believe me, once I got into the habit of doing this, my life became so much simpler because I never again felt lost. And I'm being serious right now. I don't remember the last time I felt lost. Every single day, every month, every week, every day, I know exactly what to do to move forward towards my vision, the ideal version of my life, or my ideal life and the ideal version of myself. I know exactly what steps to take. And so, actually, although it seems more complicated, it's not. It simplifies my life by 10 times and makes it far more fulfilling because I can see tangibly that I'm making progress every single day. And in my opinion, there is no better feeling. So, with that, I will leave it there. I really hope this has benefited you. And by the way, all of this is part of my 3-part framework for bringing out your potential, essentially. And just quickly, briefly to explain this, that's the framework itself has 3 circles which overlap. I don't have it on my whiteboard right now. And they go drive, direction, and development. 3 Ds. And the reason for this is because with these 3 things, I believe this is the formula or the framework for becoming your best self by the end of your life. And I'm explaining this because this is connected to my journaling system. And essentially the drive part, well, that's your purpose, that's your reason why, and that's fundamental. And then the direction is your vision, which I just spoke about, and then development is all about, well, that's what the journaling system is for, because journaling guarantees development for me. And what I mean by development is simply just making consistent progress day after day, because as I said, I believe that if you never stop improving, success becomes inevitable. And that's why with these 3 things, I can use a car as an analogy, as I often do. If you have the drive, well, that's the engine, which is crucial. The direction is crucial for knowing where you want to go. If you don't know where you want to go, then it doesn't matter how strong an engine you have, your journey will be meaningless because you don't know where you want to go. Or why you're going anywhere in the first place. And then development is about making consistent progress day after day. Because life is a marathon, not a sprint. A series of sprints, which in the macro is a marathon. So with that, I hope this has helped you and you found this valuable. And I wish you all the very best. As always, be mega. Ciao.